You post a photo, an idea, a project, and then the vigil begins. The page is refreshed every 30 seconds. Your heart gives a little leap with each new notification. You make an important decision, and instead of feeling the firmness of your conviction, you feel an urgent need to seek external validation. To ask friends, family, even strangers on an online forum, "Did I do the right thing? What do you guys think?" A simple compliment from someone you barely know can light up your entire day. A criticism, no matter how small or irrelevant, throws you into a pit of anxiety and self-doubt. If this cycle of emotional highs and lows, dictated by the approval of others, sounds familiar, then pay close attention. You are shackled by one of the most debilitating and widespread afflictions of our era, the applause addiction. Make no mistake, this isn't a simple vanity or a character flaw. It's a fundamental human condition that has been hijacked and supercharged by the modern world. It's the constant, hungry need for external validation, a thirst that is never quenched. It's as if our self-esteem were a leaky bucket, and we spend our days desperately running after others, begging them to fill it with their drops of applause, their likes, their positive comments. But the bucket never truly fills up, does it? The relief is always temporary, the bucket always empties, and the cycle of dependency begins again, stronger and more desperate. But what if you could, once and for all, fix that leak? What if you could build your own source of self-worth, an internal spring, robust, that gushes from the inside out and never runs dry, regardless of the droughts or storms of public opinion? Stoic philosophy not only promises this, it delivers an engineering manual for this construction. Today, here on StoicPunch, we are going to guide you step by step in breaking the chains of this addiction. Prepare to unlearn the need to be applauded and learn the art of self-approval. Prepare to find real freedom. First, the precise diagnosis. Why are we so deeply addicted? The root is evolutionary. For our ancestors, the approval of the group was synonymous with survival. Being accepted by the tribe meant protection, food, the chance to reproduce. Being rejected was often a death sentence. This instinct for belonging is etched into our DNA. The problem is that the modern world, especially the architecture of social media, has hacked this primordial instinct. The attention economy and the gamification of approval have trained us to associate our value with quantifiable and superficial metrics. Every like, every follower, every positive comment is a microdose of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure and reward. The platforms are designed to keep us in this cycle of seeking one more dose, making us addicted to feedback like lab rats pressing a button. The symptoms of this disease of the soul are clear and manifest in daily life. It's the compulsive checking of your phone, not for connection, but for validation. It's the paralyzing hesitation to express a genuine opinion for fear of cancellation or disapproval. It's the feeling of emptiness and anxiety that consumes you when a post doesn't perform as expected. It's the chronic difficulty in making decisions, from the trivial to the most important, without first polling your social circle. And perhaps the most tragic symptom of all, it's the tendency to live for the online persona, for the curation of highlight reels, for the perfect photo, instead of surrendering to and living the imperfect, real beauty of the present moment. The cost of this dependency is devastating, if even subtle. It corrodes your authenticity, turning you into a social chameleon, a patchwork of others' expectations, with no defined center. It fuels chronic anxiety, as your happiness is always in jeopardy, depending on the unpredictable mood of your audience. It creates a self-esteem as fragile as a house of cards, ready to crumble with any breath of criticism or indifference. And perhaps the most tragic symptom of all, it's the tendency to live for the online persona, for the curation of highlight reels, for the perfect photo, instead of surrendering to and living the imperfect, real beauty of the present moment. Enough of living like a hostage. It's time to take the fortress back. It's time for the Stoic cure. Stoicism gives us a punch of reality, a dose of truth that is bitter but liberating, by forcing us to face its most fundamental tool, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential philosophers, was relentless on this point. Some things are under our control, and others are not. The opinions of others? Completely, totally, and absolutely outside of your control. What people think, say, or feel about you is a product of their experiences, prejudices, values, and state of mind, not yours. Trying to control this is exhausting, frustrating, and the very definition of insanity. But what is under your control? Herein lies all your power, your character, your intentions, your actions, your judgments about the things that happen. It is in this territory, and only this territory, that a Stoic fights their battles. With this unshakable foundation, let's move to the practical tools for breaking the applause addiction. Stoic tool number 1. Abandon the outer scorecard, live by the inner scorecard. Imagine 2 scorecards in your life. The outer scorecard is what the world sees and measures: likes, followers, compliments, job titles, bank balance, the car in the garage. Our society is obsessed with this scorecard. The applause addict lives and dies by every point, positive or negative, that appears on it. But the Stoic plays a different game, an inner game. They focus on the inner scorecard. This scorecard measures your virtues in action. It doesn't ask how many likes did I get, but rather, was I honest when it would have been easier to lie? Was I brave in the face of my fear? Was I disciplined in carrying out a task I set for myself? Was I just and generous in my interactions? This is the only scorecard that truly matters. At the end of your day, the essential question is not, did they like me, but did I like who I was today? Did I act according to my best values? Focus on scoring points on your inner scorecard, and external applause will become what it truly is: background noise, sometimes pleasant, but ultimately irrelevant to your worth. Stoic tool number 2. Filter all feedback with the blade of reason. A Stoic is not an arrogant hermit who closes himself off from the world. On the contrary, they are open to growth, but they use reason as a high-precision filter. Upon receiving criticism, they don't react with the pain of a wounded ego. They pause and dissect the criticism calmly, asking questions. Is the source of this criticism credible and well-intentioned? Is there a grain of objective truth here, stripped of the emotional tone in which it was delivered, that I can use to become a better person? If the answer is yes, they are grateful for the lesson, even if the messenger was rude. If the answer is no, they dismiss the criticism as what it is, just the uninformed opinion of another person, meaningless noise that doesn't deserve to occupy space in their mind. The same goes for praise. Faced with applause, they ask, is this praise for a genuinely virtuous action, or is it just empty flattery to get something from me? They appreciate the genuine recognition of their character, but they do not allow themselves to be inflated by superficial adulation. They remain balanced because their foundation is within themselves.
Stoic tool number 3. Practice self-reliance through daily examination. To depend less on what others think of you, you need to strengthen what you think of yourself. And that requires data. The Stoics were great advocates of journaling or the daily review. Every night before sleeping, Seneca would review his day and ask himself, what fault did I cure today? What vice did I resist? In what aspect am I better? Start this practice. Ask yourself, where did I act based on my principles today? Where was I a hostage to an external opinion? Where did I let the fear of judgment paralyze me? How can I act with more virtue tomorrow? This practice of honest and constant self-assessment builds a robust sense of identity, based on real progress and self-knowledge, not on volatile external feedback. When you know who you are and what you are working to improve, the opinions of others lose their power to define or destabilize you. Stoic tool number 4. Use momentum mori as the final antidote to trivial worries. Remember death. Yes, it sounds grim, but it is, paradoxically, one of the most liberating and life-affirming tools in Stoicism. Faced with the inescapable reality of your finiteness, the anxiety over a negative comment on Instagram, or the urgent need for a coworker's approval is revealed in all its absurdity. Put your worries into perspective. Ask yourself, on my last day on Earth, will I care if this person liked my outfit, my project, my opinion? The answer is almost always a resounding no. This perspective forces you to prioritize what is truly essential and lasting, living a life of purpose, meaning, and virtue, not a life of performance for a fleeting and, most of the time, indifferent audience. By practicing this Stoic freedom, by methodically breaking the chains of the applause addiction, the transformation in your life will be radical and inevitable. You will experience the authentic freedom to be yourself, without the masks that the fear of judgment forces you to wear. Your resilience will increase exponentially. Criticism may still be noted, but it will no longer define or destroy you. And praise will become a pleasant bonus, not a drug you depend on to feel good. You will become more decisive and courageous, making decisions based on your inner compass of values, not on the unstable map of public opinion. Your relationships will deepen, as they will be based on honesty and authenticity, not on performance for a fleeting and, most of the time, indifferent audience. And above all, you will achieve ataraxia, a deep and unshakable peace of mind, because your tranquility will no longer be held hostage by the thumbs up or thumbs down of other people. You become the guardian of your own happiness. Now, the practice is yours. In which area of your life does your applause addiction manifest most strongly? And which of these powerful Stoic tools will you start using today to begin your journey of liberation? Share your journey and your challenges in the comments below. Let's build this strength together as a community. And if this punch of Stoic clarity gave you a new perspective on true freedom, then smash that like button, subscribe to Stoic Punch to strengthen your mind with us, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single battle. Remember, the only applause you truly need to live a good life, a life worthwhile, is that of your own conscience when you act with virtue and courage. This is Stoic Punch. Seek inner validation, and you will find outer freedom.